Sorry, you have to adjust it. Stay. Okay. Hi guys, Tiffany here. So I know it's late, and it's always late because I have a daycare during the day. So it's kind of hard to step away from children when, you know, everything's going on and then come in here and do this. And I can't bring them in here because they're under 3 years old of age. But I've been slowly sitting them on my lap and letting them do this with me. But I don't trust them running around just yet while I'm doing stuff. So especially with rotary cutters and stuff out. So yeah. But it's late, yes, I know, and some of you won't be able to see me, and I'm so sorry for that. If you don't get to catch me live, there's always a replay, so I hope that that's okay with you. So tonight, let me just get this going, because I'm trying to do everything by myself again. Everybody's busy tonight in the household, so nobody can come in here and help me. Go figure. I have to make sure that the volume is down on this. Because all I want to do is see. Oh, this is taking forever. I'm hoping that I'm not frozen. Because I can't see the other side of the camera, guys. So I guess while that's loading, like the title says, tonight we're going to do the binding tool star. I said I was going to come up with something to use with a jelly roll. So we are going to use a jelly roll tonight to make a binding tool star. And I will run you through it step by step. And my daughter actually chose this one for me to do. She says, Mom, you have to make it. You have to make it because it looks so cool. It's awesome, blah, 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 blah. So yes, this is for my daughter. The quilt might not be for her specifically, but the idea of making the video is for her because she really, really wants me to do this one. However it turns out will be the part that she will want or not want this quilt. So, I'm going to check something and then we'll get started. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, we'll turn the volume down just one notch. There we go. First of all, you have to open the jelly roll. I know nobody wants to open these. Some of them come open, but nobody ever wants to open them. We're going to open it. Open it up and see how pretty it is. Oh, it's even prettier out of the package. Let me tell you. This is a roll from Tex, and it doesn't have really a name, so it does look like it has peacocks on it, and I think that's why she chose what she chose, the binding tool star, because it has peacocks on it. I'm going to open it from one, just open the whole thing. Oh, look at that, some even fell out on my way. So pretty. Look at these pretty fabrics. Let's see what we got going on here. So I'm going to separate these, obviously, because I want my stuff to line up. Oh, and for this one, it does require, well, it doesn't require because I could show you how to cut it without it, but the binding tool. It's the binding tool to TQM Products. It's a 2009 tool. And it shows you, it's a tool for helping with binding, but there's all sorts of things that you can make with this. So I'm going to make a star that will radiate. At least the picture looks like it's radiating from where I got it from. So I am separating these because each block will have 4 strips in it. Well, 8 strips, 4 of the same colors. So, and I'm going to see what I can make. Kind of just choosing them. I don't know if I want to choose them at random or use other ones as a border. So we'll see right now. It's so pretty, peacock feathers. Okay, so there's 5 of this one. Okay. So some jelly rolls have 4 of each, they have 3 of each, 2 of each, and it's just spread out. There are some jelly rolls for some companies that have 1 of each fabric from that line, and or of random colors that go together. So it just depends on the company that you get it from. So I have a bunch of different ones here. Some have 3, some have 4. And I think I can get 4 from each. Let's see. 1, 2, 16. So I'm going to take out 32 locks, I think. I'm thinking here. I wrote some of what I needed down. So there's 4 and 4, so that's 8 from each. So yeah, we'll cut it in groups of 8, but I think we should cut our background fabrics first. So I'm going to pick all this up. I did not prepare like always. I just kind of come in here and get on before it's too late and nobody gets to see. So from the background, we are going to cut 4 strips that are 8.5. I'm using yardage, so we're going to use about a yard. I'm trying to think right now in my head. Almost 2.5 yards is what we're going to use of a backing color. And my backing color is going to be the same throughout the whole quilt. So yeah, I need to cut, there it is. 4 8.5-inch strips that we're going to subcut into 8.5-inch squares. Let's make sure this is nice and flat. It's on my line. I'm going to come over here to 8.5. I'm backwards again, like always. Reline this back up again, because, like I said, I'm never prepared. Sooner or later, I will always be prepared, but right now, I am not. This was kind of like a, when I can get on kind of thing, guys, and I'm sorry about that. So we're going to go to 8.5, and we're going to cut 8.5 4 times. Usually I have a weight out in my quilting space outside. I have a weight that holds my ruler steady for me. I'm just going to have to do this over and over because I don't have the space in here. And I'm standing today, yay. I'm still in a lot of pain. I have a migraine, but I'll manage because I've been managing it all day. I took some medicine for it, so I should be okay for a little while. Because I have migraine medicine that I take at the first sign of a migraine. So I'm cutting 4 8.5-inch strips off of my bolt here, which is almost a yard. Oh my goodness. Right there. One more time with this 8.5 thing, and then we'll subcut these into 8.5-inch squares. And there's my cat, if you guys can see him. He's coming out. He actually ended up in my room during this today. Alright, that's 4 of those. My fan is blowing everything everywhere. And the next cut, well, let's do the first cut first, because or else I'm going to get off track here. Which is what happens. Hi, Teresa. Hi, Donna. I'm okay, Teresa. I'm doing a lot better today than I have been, which is a good thing. I went swimming and I took pills. It's not always good to have to do that, though. So I'm just going to stack them up on top of each other. The cross quilt on the bed is what I made my daughter a few years ago, and then it sat and sat and sat and sat and, well, sat some more in the garage in a pile of quilts. It was supposed to be for her baptism, then it was supposed to be for her birthday, then it was supposed to be for Christmas, and it kind of just, and then I started quilting it and I messed up on it really badly, so I had to rip it all apart, tear the back up, and salvage it as best as possible. So that's what I did, and now it's finished finally. It was finished, finally got finished after all this time, and stay. Can't see my line right here at the bottom. I have to let my cat out in 2 seconds, but after this cut, I'm cutting the selvage off. Here, I'll show you guys my little kitty. This is my Thumper. Say hi, everybody. This is my kitty. He doesn't ever play on my quilt stuff. He's not much of a quilting cat. He actually, if I'm throwing blocks on the floor in the living room because I don't want to be outside, he'll come up and he'll run against them, mess them up, and then he'll not touch them no more. He's not much of a fabric kitty, huh? Okay, let me throw him out real quick. No. Alright, we're coming over 8.5 inches now. Stay. My cuts are probably not going to be perfect today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And this should give me 16 blocks, just right here, these 2 cuts off of here. Which is all I need, is 16 blocks. So this just becomes wind-blowing scrap. Go. Alright, so 16 8.5 inch squares. So here's pile number 1. Now our next one is going to be, turn that around again, 9 inch squares. Thank you. Yes, he's a cutie. We are going to do this again 4 times. We're going to cut 9 inch squares, which I'm just going to try to fold this and work. Come over. I hate wasting fabric, that's my thing. So I try to get it exact. Just want to cut off a small little edge right there. So I can get 2 cuts at a time. Try not to waste. Try not to waste, guys. You probably can't even see what I'm doing, but you can hear me. Okay. Now come over to the 9, and we're going to do this twice. Well, technically 4 cuts at 9 inches. And we're going to try to leave them as stacked as best as possible. Leave that stacked nicely. Come over, do 2 more cuts. Try to leave this nicely stacked. And just do one at a time because I don't feel like doing this all over again. I can't see if anyone's talking, and I'm sorry because I'm trying to do these cuts, and I should have done this first, and just tell you guys. But we're trying to just build it together, so we'll do it together. Move that out of the way. One more. Typically, most people don't buy by the bolt like I do, so you would have to not worry about unfolding the bolt like I have to worry about. Plus, my space in the garage is way bigger than in here. It's like I don't have any space out here in this room. All right. Oh, 4 more cuts from that after this. I'll lay that there. Okay, now we're going to subcut these into 9-inch squares. Hi, Michelle. How are you? I think I wrote you back earlier. I totally forgot if I did, and I'm sorry if I didn't. Today has been a super busy day with the kids. So I haven't been doing all the things I'm supposed to be getting done, but I really, really, really wanted to get on today and say hi to everyone and get this worked on. So I don't know how long it's going to take me to at least build 1 block. So I want to try to get as much as I can done. I think I'm trying to cut all these at once. Maybe not. Just move that out of the way. Again, we're subcutting these ones to 9 inches. And like I said before, I promised I would do something with a jelly roll, so this is the something I'm doing with a jelly roll. So on these 9-inch ones, we are going to be cutting them a 3rd time exactly in half on the diagonal. So let me just make this first cut. Move this out of the way. And then slide it over and cut these on the diagonal just 1 time. These are the 9-inch squares. We're cutting on the diagonal, just the 9-inch ones only. So you'll have a bunch of triangles. Yeah, I don't remember if I wrote you back, Michelle. Like I said, I think I did, but I might have not because I did a bunch of other things today. I know I read it. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. So let's review. 4 cuts, 4 strips off of my yardage were 8.5 inches, subcut into 8.5 inch. And then 4 cuts are also being cut off at 9 inches, subcut into 9 inches, and then cut again on the diagonal. I like to do all the cutting before I even start piecing. That is one thing that keeps me organized, because for beginners, you should be laying your blocks in front of you, which makes things so much easier, because it's easy to see what we're doing when you lay your block in front of you. And that's what I teach beginners, is laying it in front of you. Because sometimes you can get things mixed up, and then you have a problem. So it's best to just pre-cut everything, unless it's something that's just sewing it together. Okay, so we have our 8.5 inch squares, leaving them whole, and then the 9 inch squares cut in half on the diagonal. So those out of the way, we are going to work with the binding tool. And I will show you how to make this cut without the binding tool as well. Totally not done with that. We need the next cut off of the yardage, which will make 2.5 yards altogether that you use, is you need four, you will need 4 2.5 inch strips, okay? So I'll get that cut in a second. Let me start on these, I guess. I'm totally out of order. Maybe I should cut those first, because I need to choose out the ones I want of this. Gonna do it this way because I don't feel like moving anything else around. Now, I'm gonna cut left-handed here, guys. Oh my God, are you serious? Black with black ruler marks makes it hard to see. One of these days I'll get me a different ruler because I use so much black. You only need 4 of these. 2.5 inches. So again, 8.5 inch strips cut into 8.5 inch squares. You need 4 cuts. So every single one of these is in 4s because we're making 16 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there's 4. Now I should be done with that part. I cut left-handed all the time, actually, guys. In the garage, my table in the garage is this tall, so it comes to here on me. So, and I have my weights, so I can cut left-handed every time and right-handed if I wanted to. Makes it easier knowing how to cut both ways. I wouldn't suggest it though if you're a beginner. After a while, you get used to it, especially if you're turning blocks. So each of these, you should get the right amount of blocks to do this. Hopefully. This if I did the math correctly, which I never usually do, but I actually did some of it myself. Black is such a dusty fabric. Okay, these are being subcut into 2.5 inch squares. And then I'll have all that done. And all I have to do is the last part. This is the easy part right here. 2.5 inch squares are a lot easier to cut up. And faster. And I'm just cutting the whole strip up. All 4 strips. As many as I can cut off here. If we have any left over, they can just go in the straps. My blade is getting dull too, so don't mind if it looks like I'm going to cut myself. But I'm not going to go find another blade yet. Okay. This is what we're going to do. Stack all that out of the way. I'm going to choose 32. I want random, so I'm going to choose 2 of each for now. That way I can even this out some. Because I need 4 of each piece for each block. So I only have 3. I love these, they're so pretty. So pretty. And it's going to look really good with the black. I was going to use that ocean color I have been using on everything else, but I decided I've been using too much of that maybe I should save it for some other project. Plus the black background on this one will make it pop a lot better. This fabric has gold in it. I'm not really a gold fan, but it's very, very pretty in this. Not F5. Okay. So for now I chose 2 from each, because we're going to make 16 piles of 4. Start with 2 at a time. So we're going to use the binding tool for this. And I'm going to put it on the side with the selvage out so I can cut that off. With the binding tool, we're going to use it, lay it on here with the selvage on the one side to start with. And you're going to get 2 pieces from every strip when you cut it. So if you do not have a binding tool, what you're going to do is grab a small ruler with a 45-degree angle, and you're going to come over 8.5 inches on your mat, like this, 8.5, and you're going to just cut it. And then that way it's separated. And then what you would do is lay this at the end of your 8.5 inch on the diagonal, like this. Binding tool is upward, so it would be upward. But you would lay the 45-degree angle on there, and then you would cut it off the end. Hope that made sense. So I'm just going to come to the end of here and use this as the guide. It's not going to be perfect. And this has these little notches. So I have 2 piles. So this is 1 because there's 4 blocks that I just cut. So this is 1. So I need 4 in each of these piles. So like I said, with the 45-degree angle, you would just be laying it on there and cutting it off. Lay it on there and cut it off. After they cut the 8.5 inch square first though. Now I just turn the ruler around, line it up on the line, cut the end. Let me trim that little piece off of there. Only so I could do it with every single one of them. I don't like rulers that have those, I just match them up on my own usually. Alright. I'm making 16 blocks, so we're making 16 piles of 4. 16 piles of 4 different colors. And then we'll save the cuts for something else. I think I'm going to probably cut more than 2 at a time though. I I need to get this done so I can start making a block for you guys. I'm going to start with it on there. I don't even think there's a specific way, you just lay it on there. I'm only doing it 2 cuts from every strip. Stupid little piece off. 2 in this pile. That pile. And then I just need 1 more in each of these piles, and then I can start making new ones. So that it's all mixed up nicely. To get your strips, just run your hand down them, and you can get them back straight again if they're messed up. Grab them at the end, and if there's, just wiggle them a little bit, straightens them right up. This all over again. Cutting so many layers at once. Really need to put another blade on here. I'm not going to do that right now, guys. Just want to get this started. Oh my gosh. Line it back up on the other side. Technically, you're just cutting 8.5-inch strips on, and then a 45-degree end. I want to mix these up, I think. Yes, I'm really going to have to mix these up now. It's just not going to look right. I'm just going to make 4 piles. Screw this. There's 4. Now we're at the next set, which is the blues. I'm talking to myself. Go figure. How's everyone's day today? So tired. I need to get this finished. Get to piecing. This big lump in my table right here makes it really hard to cut. Right here in this section, I have a huge lump, like a bubble, from this being out in the sun in the garage. We use it for when we have family and company and need somewhere else for everybody to sit. Holidays. All right, just a few more cuts and then we can get started. How's that? Oops, I'm going that way. I'm cutting the selvage off first. That way I don't have to cut any off later. I don't like pinked edges. What do you guys think of the pinked edges on some of these jelly rolls? They kind of, I don't know, annoy me. And they make a severe mess. Ooh, so we'll see that on the one of his openings in probably what, 4 to 6 days, depending on shipping time. I love watching him open the quilts. I was excited when he got mine, and now I'm super excited to see all the rest. I only talk to myself though when I'm doing stuff like this. And I got a sneeze coming. Woo! Ooh. Hold back. All right, one more time. One more time. Wednesday, this Wednesday, as in tomorrow. Wait, tomorrow's Tuesday. The next day, not tomorrow. I got my days mixed up. It's one thing that happens a lot to me because I never leave home. I get my days messed up all the time. Alright, so this should be it for the cutting, guys. Again, if you don't have a binding tool, remember you can cut all these on the 45-degree angle. Cut an 8.5 inch square, lay the top on the 45-degree angle, which would be this way on the bottom. Lay your bottom on the 45-degree angle and cut it off. So cut from the bottom. Use your angle from the bottom side, right at the edge. And then cut. Alright. By the way, I'm making a large one. I'm not making a small one. If you guys know what the binding tool star is, I'm making a large one. Oh, and if anybody is curious, I did finish that runner I was working on. It's actually right behind me. The one where we did the stars. So yeah, I finished it and I quilted it. I did swirls all the way around the edge. In here I just did a continuous curve all the way around, and then I just did like a flower without anything in it, just in the stars, and then just quilted around the edge. My daughter didn't want a lot. She doesn't like heavy quilting, but I had to heavily quilt in the center to hold it down because it was such small pieces being held together. And then the back is just a plain backing that I had a cut left over from another big huge quilt. It was just the bottom that was left over. So that's hers when she comes and gets it, because it's all finished. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to lay a block in front of us by making one. So we're going to take 8 different pieces. Well, technically 4 different pieces, 4 different colors of both way cuts. I'm just going to lay them around so I can see what there is. I want to try to mix the colors up really good. I'll use this one. 1, 2, 3. I'll use this one, 4. So we want 4 of them. Yeah, just like that. Actually, I'll swap it. Nope, that's good like that. Okay. We take an 8.5 inch square, just the one that is just a regular square. And we're going to lay it right here in front of us. See if I can see. All right, I was trying to see if anybody said anything. You guys are talking to each other. Oops, this one's going to go on the side. And its mirror image will go on the side. And then one of these will go here. Move these out of the way so we can see what I'm doing here. And this one will go here. And that one will go there. And obviously they're not going to line up right now, but we're laying it in front of us because that's what I want you guys to do, is lay these in front of you. And then one more time. You're going to put 4. Push that over more. Push it over more. So it looks funny at first because seam allowances are still there. Okay? And see how this angle is here? This, once it's together, should fit here. And this should fit here. So that makes one block. Oops. One block. This should have this right there. Aw, thank you. Somebody needs to love me around here. Everybody does. I'm doing all this work. Okay, the iron is plugged in. There we go. So this is how we do this. You can come in, Max.
I'm trying not to make noises.
Oh, that's okay.
Grace wants me to see her.
See her what?
Go over to see her real quick. She's having like a panic.
So can't you just talk to her?
I thought you were done.
So, sorry, I'm talking to the daughter. She can come say hi. Come say hi.
Hi.
Say hi.
I did. I said hi.
No, where they can see you.
Oh, my knee hurts really bad.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start. So she's not coming to say hi. We're going to start. She just got out of the shower. Mine's kind of wet too because I just got out of the pool before I started this because I was in the pool with the baby.
It hurts.
What'd you do to it?
Nancy drew a wrestling, and then
Is we're going to take
hit the ground really hard.
one side, and that one side we're going to flip over, right sides together. Our little block, our little 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares, and they're going to get sewn onto these and these only. And I better put my machine back where I usually keep it because I did not have my little 1/4 inch guide thing going on here, keeping me where I'm supposed to be. And we are going to chain piece all of these. And then I've already laid them over on top of each other, so it makes it easy to just bring it over to the machine. I hate these pinked edges because I know my block is 2.5 inches and this one sticks out. That'd be the case, you sew on the cut you made, not the other cut. Of course, I'm not sewing on that side, but when it comes to it, you know. And then I snip them all. And since this is laying in front of us, if our order gets out, we won't lose it. I'm going to press all these to the black, which is the dark, not the print. With my squealing iron. Don't you guys just love my squealing iron? It whistles at you. Say, woo, you're cute. You're doing all the amazing things with my material. I just want to press you. And then I'm going to lay them back.
Oh, Mom, Maddie's coming over Wednesday, by the way.
Where their matching piece is. So those are already together. And this is the beginner way to do this, guys. So now I'm going to take my big 8.5-inch square that has all this pinked edge stuff that's just everywhere, all over it now. And I'm going to lay it right sides on here, matching up the bottom edge.
Okay. Just text me when you're done with this.
Okay. I'm going to sew that on first. Yes, this brand with the pinked edge of the fabric makes it come out slightly bigger. So I always go towards the inner side of the pinked edge. But I did get a brand once that, I'm going to press this out, by the way, guys, towards the print fabric. But I've gotten a package once of pinked cuts, a jelly roll with pinked edges, and it was actually on the inside, so they were cut small. So when I put my cut, and I measured and did it right, when I put my cut on top of it, because I was doing strip piecing, but with a solid and a regular and a jelly roll strip, and yeah, my piece was way bigger. And I looked on the thing, no, mine was not way bigger. It was their pieces, they were wrong. So we're going to lay this back here, and we're going to lay this one right sides on top of it, the first one. And since I pressed one way, oops, yeah, I should have pressed it towards the black. Oh well. I didn't think about that. I'll just make it go that way because I'm going to repress it anyway. Line it up on the edge. But yeah, these pinked edges on these, I don't know why they do it. Some brands do, some companies do, some don't. Heat it up. Add some steam. My ironing board holes are actually getting in the way. It's catching my... Alright. Then lay it back down. And you grab your next piece, which is the short one again, that does not have a black on it. And you lay that on there. And I just flip it upside down if I have to. Line them up. Put it back where it goes. My thing is, for beginners, is putting it back where it goes and then grabbing the next one. So that way you're not taking anything off. And I'm going to press this the opposite way right this very second. So it's already laying the way I want it to lay. Put it right sides together. Grab it. Keeps you in order. The more you do this, the more you won't have to. This one's going to be like super adorable, that's for sure. These prints are like gorgeous. My daughter will not want to pass this one up. She'll be like, Mom, I told you to make it, now I want it. Lay it back. Grab the next one. Lay it right sides together. And if you have to turn it upside down, you can. It's no big deal. Pull that down a little on it though. My iron squeals because the little hole, we have hard water here in Arizona, like super hard water, but I prefer steam. I've tried every kind of possible water, even distilled, and guess what? It still clogs the iron up. So the little holes in the iron, bring it to me, it's hot, but I can't touch it, but those little holes that are in the iron for the steam to come out, well, I unclogged them, but somewhere inside there more, the part that meets the water in this bottom piece, they're clogged. So it squeals trying to get the water out, or the steam out. It's very weird. It's actually my only squealing iron. My other ones are just clogged. But this one's my better of all the irons because it still works and it still steams. But it squeals. Lay it where you go, put the next one on. I'm going to press that the other way real quick because I should have just pressed these all towards the print fabric. But I was not thinking. Put this one that way too. Get it done. This block is actually really fast. If I wasn't just messing around, this is a really fast block to make. Like, super fast to make. So, 16 of these should go quick. You can have this done in a couple hours. The whole quilt top. So, but if you babble like I do and so on, then it just takes a little bit longer. I think they finish at 14 inches or 14 or 15 inches. We'll see in a second, to be for a fact sure. I wrote it down on another piece of paper last night when I was writing all the measurements that I needed. We'll see though, because I always show you guys anyway when I'm trimming it up. So lay it back. Just one more color to add. Right sides together. You could actually make placemats with just this simple design without adding the other things, by the way. They're French braid table runners. They're really popular right now, actually. And lay it where it goes. See the next one, fit that on. And then just two more pieces to add after this. But see, just make sure you're nesting these, your corner, what I would call cornerstone blocks. In reality, that's what they're called. Just make sure you're matching that with the other seam from the back side. That way it lays flat. Alright. The next step, lay it back where it goes. And these, you'll see they stick out really far. It's purposely so that it lays on there right. So I just lay them over, right sides together, depending on if you're using a print, because solids have no right or wrong side. And I just try to look at it and equally put the same amount on each side. That's pretty much how I do it. I just eyeball it. Because you're going to be trimming the block down anyway, so it's not going to matter. As long as you have the same amount on each side. And typically, you could see it lines just right. It's the same amount on each side. You can even fold it, I guess, in half, fold both pieces in half and find the center, but I don't think there's no point in that. I think it's simpler just to eyeball it. And I'm going to put the other one on here before pressing. About the same amount on each side. the fan on. It's making this hard because it keeps pushing my piece up. We're gonna have to stand up to do this because it keeps pushing. The fan is blowing me. And I'm just pushing this seam out. Press the whole thing real quick. Alright, so, can you see that, guys? Finished block. Lay it down right here. And then I'm going to grab a big ruler. I'm going to move these out of the way. We're going to see what it's finishing at. These corners at least. Yep, 16. So we're going to trim it down to 16. Shouldn't be too hard. Trim it down to 16. So I'm just going to use this edge of my 8.5 inch as the line for now. I'm going to turn it completely around, line it up with the 16 inch and the first line right here. Since I have a small mat in here and a bigger one outside. And I'm just going to take this off right here on this edge. So I'm going to take it down to 16.25 actually. That way I don't cut too much off my block. Yep. Let's see what happens. I don't want to take too much off. So we got 16.25. Doesn't matter. Yep. 16.25 all the way around, guys. And that's the finished block. Is it still on? Oh. Oh, okay. Alright. So I thought it said my internet connection was dead, but it was just on this that the internet connection was dead. So I'm hoping that it didn't kill it out for the whole thing. So here's the block, guys. Making 16 of these, so I'll do it all one more time. Guess I'll just move it back here for now, and we'll do it one more time so that you can see. So we start with an 8.5 inch square, and then you choose 4 colors. Let's see, what else we got going on here? These are both the same, I think. Yep. Let's choose this one. And try not to be too picky, but I kind of want variation, you know? And one more, we'll do this one. Putting a square at each end. And then obviously the big triangles. one on each side. Okay. So again, we'll start by putting a black piece right sides together on each one of these. Bring them over to the machine and chain piece them together. And for those who don't know, chain piecing is when you keep everything linked without breaking thread. It is very, very convenient to do when you don't want to waste a lot of thread and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. Stay. And there's no pinning actually required in this whole project. You don't really need to pin anything, so that makes it easier. Separate them all. I'm going to press them all to the print fabric this time. And lay them at their corresponding spot. And we'll start with the 8.5 inch square. Let's try to speed through this one, go a little bit faster. Now that we get the hang of it, just watch it. Yeah, these are so fast to sew. So lay it back in front of you, grab the next one. They're super simple, and it actually doesn't even use a whole jelly roll. So the leftover pieces can be used for a scrappy border, which has matching pieces to the whole entire thing. So you don't have to go buy extra fabric that coordinates. You just add one border, say you're using black, add one border in black, and then the second border like a piano key border, which is very, very easy to make. And actually, I'm kind of thinking on teaching you guys to do a piano key border. What is it called? Oh my God, now I can't even think of the word. With a Y seam at the end to make the pieces meet up exactly. Because I can totally teach that. So we'll go to the next one. I can't think, it's on my mind now. Dang it. 36 strips. No, 32, yeah. 16. Yeah, whatever 16 plus 16 is. 32. 36. 6 is 36. So 6, 30, yeah, 36. I am horrible with math, guys. Like, the most absolute horrible. I usually ask everyone else in the house. I know basic math. 1 plus 1 is 10. I know basic 1 plus 1. And I can count change back. That's one thing I can do. But I cannot do quilting math at all. I really suck. It takes me a lot of asking questions to learn how much yardage I need to buy to make something specific, or how much yardage I need to go out in the garage and look for. So yeah, I'm not one for math. And if you want to look for this fabric roll, I found it at Tuesday morning. So, and nobody had bought any of them. They were just sitting there. So I bought 2 because I'm on a limit. I can only buy a couple at a time. Or else I would have bought them all, but nobody's been buying this one. And it's, once I opened it, it's like super adorable. I don't know why anyone wouldn't buy it. Everyone else buys all the other jelly rolls and layer cakes there at Tuesday morning. And remember, don't forget to match your seam right here. Just that one seam is all you're matching. That way it does line up nice and straight and flat, flush. Yeah, it's peacock fabric with paisley, peacocky feather looking ness on some of them, but it's mainly peacock feathers and then the gold, which would be the eye in a peacock feather, really is all it is. Whoever designed this line with the blues and greens is a genius because I love it. My daughter absolutely loved it. That's where this whole purchasing this and making this came into play. I am going to have to start making quilts from my stash stuff though, because I can't buy fabric for a while. I am on a budget. So we'll put this on here, match it up. You can feel it, so that everybody knows you can feel when they're together. It feels like it's 2 pieces of fabric just laying flat. If it was messed up, you would know. But if you want to put a pin, you can put a pin. Yes, Tuesday morning is amazing. I have so many things there. Well, mine is always out because there's like 1,800 quilters in my town, and there's only one Tuesday morning, and they don't get as much as some other Tuesday mornings. We barely have a little section. The section that they stock is not even as big as my desk. It's just a little, like this square area straight down. They carry like 3 sewing machines on the bottom. Then the next shelf is layer cakes, and then the shelf above that is fat quarters and charm packs and jelly rolls just standing, and then they have hanging things with scissors and stuff like that. But that's all they have. They don't have much. But when they do, I buy what I can. Alright, now we're on these outer 2 pieces. These are the 9-inch squares cut in half. Right sides together. Just align it in the middle. When you see the same amount of triangle on each side, then you're pretty sure you're in the middle. I'll probably trim that other block down fully to 16 inches. That way the quilt isn't off by a number. It makes it easier to piece a border. You mean the first block? That? Okay, so all the squares needed for this. Let me press this and I'll tell you guys all one more time so that now you can see the 2 blocks together. Give me 2 seconds to press this. This fan makes this so hard for me that I need it on, or else these lights, because I'm in my bedroom, all these lights facing me so that you guys can even see me now. they actually heat me up and I sweat so bad. That's the reason why I'm always, well, I live in Arizona, so that's why I'm always wearing tank tops, but today I'm wearing a dress, but. Alright, so there's block number 2. So this block right here, let's see, can you see? This block right here is an 8.5 inch square. Okay, so this block right here, 8.5 inch square. These blocks aligned right here are 2.5 inch squares. These are 9 inch squares, these two end pieces, cut on the diagonal, just one time. These are, in reality, 8 inches off of your jelly roll strip. So it's technically an 8.5 inch long piece, but at one end is a 45-degree angle off. And I would, when doing the 45-degree angle, if you have to do it, I would always use it from the bottom. So if you had your jelly roll strip laying out right here in front of you, say that was your jelly roll strip, and you started with the cut and then you ended an 8.5 inch cut, I would take the ruler and cut the angle, line your 45-degree angle up on the bottom, you know, and the tip, at the tip of your jelly roll piece that you cut off, and then cut it at that 45-degree angle. And then for your next one, you would swap it, you know, the ruler to the top side so that you get that same angle this way. You would switch it to the top side. So you would line that 45-degree line on the bottom first, on the top second, and you only need 2 cuts from each jelly roll. So cut 8.5 inch long. If you do not have the binding tool, which I don't even know where I stuck the darn thing. If you do not have this binding tool, which I know you can't see it very well, so I'll lay it right here. It's laying that cut is the bottom of a 45-degree angle perfectly like that from a regular ruler. So when you're doing the binding thing, you're just flipping it like this, right side up. So start from the bottom, cut the 45-degree angle, which is the same as the tool, and then take it to the top on the next one, which is the same as the tool turned around. That way you get the correct cuts if you don't have the tool. So the center, again, this center is 8.5 inches, 8.5 inch square. So that's 4 cuts off of 1 yard. It's 4 8.5 inch strips, subcut in 8.5 inch squares. You only need 16 because we're only making 16 blocks. It will be a squared quilt. Then the 9 inch squares, again, you only need 16 of them. That's pretty much it's exactly a yard. The other one is 2 inches before a yard. Then it's exactly a yard for the 9 inch squares, cut on the diagonal one time, and you only need 16 of those cut on the diagonal. 16 solid 9 inch blocks cut on the diagonal once, so that makes 36. Look at this. I made 2 of those the same almost at the bottom. I won't put those 2 next to each other in the quilt. I'll move those around. I didn't realize I put 2 the same ones next to each other. But this is what it'll look like. And then obviously it'll repeat itself over and over again. There'll be a star in the center, and then the next 2 pieces up will face this way. The outer 2 pieces, and I'll piece it together in a 4-patch, and I'll probably come back. I'll make all the blocks and come back and show you how to put them together. How's that sound? For now, I'll get off of here, but I'll make all the blocks and then come back. How's that? That way you guys can watch how it's put together. So yeah, I would say lay it out in front of you, and then, yeah, you can play with it. I'm going to try not to keep putting these ones right here in the front, but I chose 2 of each color, so I have this whole entire pile left. I don't even know how many strips I have because there was 42, so there's 10, 11, 17, 18, 19, 40, 41, 42. There should be 6. No, there's more than 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 20 strips left. Maybe I didn't cut as many as I needed at first to make 16, but I know you need 36. I'm pretty sure you need 36 strips. Because you need 2 cuts off of each, so for 2 different mirror images. So, if anybody has any questions, comments below, and I will come back again once I make all the blocks with a video on how to put them together. And I'll probably do that tomorrow, just because I'll have all these done by tomorrow. So it's not very hard, it doesn't take very long. And I'll tell you guys all the measurements again tomorrow. But if anyone needs to know, just put a comment below so that I can comment on it, and I'll tell you the measurements again. So you need 16 8.5-inch squares. That's 4 strips, subcut into 8-inch strips. That's 4 strips off of a yard. 4 strips of fabric also makes 16 blocks. Then you need 16 9-inch squares cut on the diagonal. Those 9-inch strips you need 4 of. And then the 2.5-inch squares are made from, you get 64 of them because you need 64. That's made from 4 strips. 4 2.5-inch strips. So 4 strips from each 16 strips. I tried to do math earlier on here. 4 of every 16. So I needed 4 of these for all 16 blocks. 4 of each color. So that makes 16 though, because you get 2 cuts when your strip is folded in half. So you need just 8 total, but 4 different ones. Make sense? And it's going to be a pretty big quilt. It'll come out pretty large. Whatever 16 times 4 is. Mine is a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch there, and so on and so forth. So, because it'll be 4 across by 4 down. So, there you go, guys. I'm probably pretty sucky today because I was trying to explain this, but I'm not the best. I just try my hardest to make it easy for beginners, because a beginner don't know how to explain it, obviously. So I guess they could understand my beginnerness explanations. I'm trying to make it easy to do. So again, it's not that hard. I'll come back tomorrow to put it together if I get it done, because I do have other things to do, but pretty sure I can get all these pieces made by tomorrow. I'll come back tomorrow and we'll put it together. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see more. And is anyone else up there? Thank you, Michelle, for watching. And I will talk to everyone later. Bye. Hello. I think my screen froze. There it is.